On August 15th, 2020, Joyce Carol Oates quoted a tweet that's long been deleted with, "So important to wear proper hiking shoes. Never ever walk in the woods in sandals. The instep of my left foot this morning. Poison ivy, poison oak, must have stepped in something," and she posted a photo of her foot, which was very badly blistered and looked like it was infected. This is the Museum of Twitter, the show where we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. I decided I had to do a Joyce Carol Oates tweet because this week she is absolutely destroying Elon Musk in the most beautiful way. But I can't cover those tweets until next year, but she does have a long, great history of being a prolific poster, and being an insane poster a lot of times. Because the thing about Joyce Carol Oates is honestly one of the most legendary living American writers. She's won like the National Book Award, she's been a Pulitzer Prize finalist multiple times, but she also is inexplicably a great poster. And I say great in the general sense, in that like her hits are super great and her misses are absolutely incredible. And this I would say is one of her misses. Because the thing I want to clarify is that I blurred this photo myself, because I think that the unblurred version of it would not be acceptable on basically any site that allows for streaming video. But no, in real life, on actual Twitter, and it's still up, she posted a full photo of her foot when it's looking super gross and infected. You can tell, even with the blurred version, that there are some colors in there that a foot should not be. And the thing that makes this all the more insane, the fact that she did this, the fact that her foot was just looking like this because apparently she was hiking in sandals, is that when she tweeted this, she was 82 years old. It is a true statement that one of the most celebrated authors in American fiction, who's currently still alive, in her 80s, posted feet on the timeline. And people had big reactions. It was definitely the biggest story on Twitter of the day for people who know who Joyce Carol Oates is. Some people joked, like Post-Octoberist, who said, "Looking good, queen." Brandy Jensen said, "Joyce, what the fuck?" Charles McDonald said, "Bro, you need a whole new foot." And Ben Flores had probably my favorite joke in response, which was, "Joyce, I'm not concerned about where you're going, but I'm very concerned about where you have been," which is a reference to the title, "Where Are You Going? Where Have You Been?" one of Joyce Carol Oates' most famous short stories. And some people did give actually good advice, like Matthew Chapman said, "Whatever that is, it is way more serious than poison ivy, oak, sumac. Those are infected blisters. You need medical attention." And the great thing is, Joyce eventually did give us the update that she did get medical attention, going as far as to give the medication she was prescribed and naming the doctor that she saw. And I think the thing that made this blow up, beyond the fact that the foot looks gross, is that it really just is so incongruous with what we imagine like famous award-winning authors do in their old age. Like, it's just crazy that Twitter has given us a window into Joyce Carol Oates' daily life, and I guess she's the type of person who posts feet on the TL, which led Jesus Nice to joke, because it was the same summer, "Joyce Carol Oates showing Doja who's the OG in this foot game." Yes, I'm going to cover she and Rachel chat room showing feet soon. And I think that comedian Josh Gondelman summed up the irony of what was going on pretty well when he said, "When I was 22, I watched Joyce Carol Oates receive an honorary degree at my college graduation, and today I saw her gross infected foot on the internet. That's as good a metaphor as any for how the past several years have gone big picture." And okay, I'm not done with jokes people have made. People kept making jokes about this. Mac Rogers adjusted the quote from 1984 about the future to make it say, "If you want a picture of 2020, imagine Joyce Carol Oates' foot stamping on a human face, forever." Friend of the show Bald and Dowd referenced the cognitive test that Trump keeps saying that he aced with tired, person, woman, man, camera, TV. Wired. Joyce Carol Oates foot pic. Even months and years later, people still would come back and reference it. Like Sean Keaty joked and called it her folklore era. In October 2022, Wilf tweeted, "Attention parents, please be diligent and check your kids' Halloween candy this year. I just found Joyce Carol Oates' foot tweet in a Twix bar." And yes, I don't know why I didn't predict this from the beginning. Ben tweeted, "Being a gay guy is so ridiculous because what do you mean your group chat is named Joyce Carol Oates' foot?" If you see the date on this one, this is from 2024. I am not the only person who is always remembering old tweets. And it would come back up whenever Joyce Carol Oates would be notable for saying something good. Like in 2023, Kendall Jenner said, "Joyce Carol Oates has been killing it on Twitter recently. I almost forgive her for posting the foot." But I feel like now I fully forgive her for posting the foot. To be honest, I was never really mad at her for posting the foot to begin with, because like I do, unfortunately, like this is just the way my brain is wired, I'm willing to forgive a lot if it gives us good content. Like, some people will exaggerate, like, "Oh my god, that was so gross." But like, yeah, it's gross to look at, but the content and the day we had on Twitter talking about it obviously was worth like the 2 seconds of being grossed at it. And I also think, and this is just a personal gripe, I think that people exaggerate how gross they find photos. Like, yeah, you were taken aback for a second, but like, come on, you weren't like actually gonna get actively sick. Like, let's not be ridiculous. And another reason why I forgive her is because I feel like if you're still being like a prolific and interesting poster past the age of 80, I'm willing to accept basically anything. Because some people are like, "I want to retire on a farm, I never want to think about the internet again," and that's admirable. That's definitely the best way to live life. But I know myself. Like, I am familiar with Jay Christie. I've met him before. And I know that if I make it to the age of 80, I'm definitely still going to be posting. There are very few things about myself that are more fundamental than the urge to post. And I think that Joyce is similar. I'm not going to say that her book writing was like posting, but I do get the impression that she just has a need to have words that she puts out there into the world. And amen, Joyce. I respect that so much. I'm there with you. And a great point that FarmGoth made on Blue Sky last October is that, like, you need posters like Joyce Carol Oates in order to make a social media thrive. They said, I think as much as the site definitely has freaks, what it lacks are public figures who are freaks. That was the magic of Twitter. You'd know somebody was weird, then they'd reveal it in tenfold on the timeline. We need things like the Joyce Carol Oates foot incident to rally around. I never thought of it that way, but I think that that is so accurate. There really are certain things that a social media like Twitter needs to thrive, and you do need public figures revealing themselves to be really weird as like a building block. If you were designing a social media from scratch, you would never say, well, in order for this to succeed, we need famous and respected authors to post photos of their infected feet. Like, you would never say that. But in hindsight, you do need that. And so thank you for your service, Joyce, and thank you for your service this week with Elon. I really can't wait to talk about it in 365 episodes. Follow me for a new tweet every day, and if you like the show and you want to support me, please go to patreon.com/museum of Twitter. We get a weekly bonus episode called the Museum of Not Twitter, and you get to vote on what I cover on Subscriber Sundays.